Okay, so actually picking up from where I left off last time, due to issues with the recordings from this point onward, we're just gonna go for it. So, it was one of my favorite things about seeing my grandfather, the way he greeted me. Unlike my father, my grandfather was loving and playful, even as I grew older.
Sorry that
Daddy.
couldn't be here today. He said that he wasn't feeling too good again.
Also, I'm king shaming this. Anytime I say daddy, I'm just king shaming it. It had always been like that. Dad missed every visit to Grandpa's house, saying that he was busy with work or wasn't feeling well.
Is that so? Well, that's okay. Daddy can come around next time. And you're here, right?
Yeah. So what are we going to do
What? Damn it.
What are we doing today, Grandpa? Learning how to read?
Because I can't fucking... Oh my god.
Mommy says that there's a new dessert cafe open in town. Maybe we could go?
Oh, I would love to. But I've been so busy with the company these days.
Well, fuck
We're
you.
actually working on a little something. Would you like to see?
No.
It is. I was designing a new line of them. But I feel like something's missing. You don't think you could help me out, could you?
Fuck you.
He placed the toy in my hands with a smile, and I inspected it carefully. It was beautifully crafted, and obviously a lot of work was put into it. There was one thing, though.
So, what do you think?
I think it sucks. And I think that the heart on its chest should light up when you hug it. I'll be like it's alive, and it can be like a little nightlight before you sleep. It's a pillow. It's a pet. It's a
Nightlight. Those are a thing, aren't they? Like the nightlight, like pillow pets or something. Listen, they're a thing. He stroked his chin, considering my input while nodding his head. After a while, after I learned that I can read, a few moments of silent deliberation, he turned to me with a chuckle.
That's a great idea. I'll get to changing it right away. You're always like my little lucky charm, dear. You
Lucky
always know
charm.
what to add to make the perfect toy.
Well, fuck you too. I hope I can be like you one day, Grandpa.
You want to make toys as well?
God, no. Making people happy is one of the best feelings in the world. I don't know if I want to make toys when I grow up, though.
Don't worry too much about it. You have plenty of time to decide. Besides, you should do what makes you happy as well.
Like killing people. Killing people makes me happy. That makes sense.
Daddy.
Doesn't think of it in the same way, though.
Your father. I'm sure he just wants the best for you.
I'm sure that he can shove it up his fucking ass.
Sweetie, look at me.
That was close enough. He bent down to look at me eye level with a serious look on his face.
As much as your father may say something that doesn't make sense now, you must remember that he's always thinking about you. He loves you. There's no doubt about that. And you need to love him just as equally.
I don't hate.
Daddy.
I really do love him. I don't know why he's like this, though. He's a giant ass fucking dick.
Though... No... I'm like trying to excuse him because I like know his like tragic backstory thing. It's not a tragic backstory. They just had a disagreement and he's like, ugh, I don't like the sort of thing you're involved with. So, I don't really know. This is stupid.
Your father and I have had some difficulties with each other in the past. But it's nothing that you should be concerned about.
I had heard tidbits of this from my mother and various other people. The only people who had stayed quiet were my father and grandfather. Both of them refrained from saying a word on the subject matter, but it was clear that whatever happened set up a wall between them.
It's hard, though. Trying to pretend as if nothing were wrong.
However, no matter what, you have to stay strong. You're a big girl already.
I'm not a girl.
Well, there'll come a day when it seems like it's you against the world.
I'm always
But always
against the
remember
world.
that your family and friends will be here with you.
Remember, when the world turns its back on you, you turn your back on the world.
Daddy, Mommy,
Fuck
your
you.
friends at school, me. We'll stand together to get through it.
Yeah, except for you're fucking dead now, so suck it up. How can you be so sure of that?
Because we'll be right here and here.
He pointed his finger to my head first, and then pointed at my chest.
So stay strong. Promise?
No.
For a moment, he looked almost sad, pleading, but as quickly as it had come, the expression disappeared from his face. He was all smiles once again.
Fuck you.
Upon hearing that, Grandpa let out a great burst of laughter and stood up.
All right then. Enough of that. How about I whip up some special homemade dessert? I know I can't accompany you at that new cafe, but we sure can talk and eat while I cook and do some paperwork.
Who the fuck said I wanted some bitch-ass homemade dessert? That's bitch-ass. I'm going to the kitchen.
Hey, slow down there. I'm not what I used to be.
God, shut up. You will be the very home I love to see you in. Why? Why would you think I would be ready to take it? Especially after this. A surge of anger bubbled within me, but I quickly swallowed it. There was no use in getting mad, especially when the person in question was no longer there. I'm sorry. It's hard to stay calm when you've left me with so many questions, especially about what happened between you and Dad. What am I doing? Talking to a grave. My vision blurred, and I suddenly realized that I was crying. My face heated up as tears rolled down my cheeks. I'll bring you some flowers later. I miss you, Grandpa. I'll try my best to fulfill my promise I gave to you, even if the world might be turned against me. I left the grave, wiping my tears hastily so my parents wouldn't see, because heaven forbid I cry after my grandfather dies.
Well, it's time to head back home. I'll cook up your favorite lasagna when we get home, okay?
Mom, lasagna's not my favorite food. Give me strawberries. However, my dad didn't speak the entire drive home. I wanted to talk to him, but after his moment at the funeral, I wasn't sure if that was a good idea.
It's about time we took off those dreary black clothes.
Rude? Gathering my courage, I decided then that it was time to talk. Dad, could I ask you something?
Go ahead.
Why do you want me to move into the estate so soon?
I thought I made that rather clear. The college near your grandfather's house is well known for its business program. You are planning to major in business, yes? Right after you graduate from high school, you'll just live there and can easily commute to and from school. It's a perfect fit for you.
But it's so sudden. You just decided so quickly right after the funeral.
Don't be so sensitive. If you're like that in the real world, you'll be crushed.
Well, I'm just saying that maybe we could talk a bit more about my future. In reply, my father rubbed his temples and sighed quietly.
After you graduate from college, you'll work at Anderson Family Toys. I have connections since I am part of the board of directors, so you will be guaranteed a spot. That is what we talked about before, yes?
But what if...
Stop mumbling.
But what if I don't want to work there?
Don't be silly. It's the family company. Our company. I'm not just going to hand it over to some incompetent vice chairman.
He came closer to me and his face softened.
Look, this is all for the best, okay? You may not know it right now, but you will appreciate it later.
For some reason, when I heard him say that, something snapped in me. Wasn't exactly sure what it was, but it made me feel so angry. Do you even care that grandfather's passed away?
Of course I do.
Well, everything seems fine and dandy to you. Things couldn't be better.
Excuse me? I don't like your tone, young lady.
But I don't like your face, old man. It's like nothing even happened at all. Like you just ignored the fact that he's no longer here.
Do not raise your voice at me.
I didn't. You're the one doing it. What did he ever do to you to deserve this? My father, his face hardened, crossed his arms and erupted in angry laughter. He doesn't look very angry. He looks more like, oh, I am so upset.
Ha! You sure place him upon a
there's his angry
pedestal.
face.
Like he's some kind of venerated god or something. It makes me sick.
Well, I'm sorry that my grandfather was actually nice to me, unlike you, you fucking piece of shit with a stick up your ass. Is that it? Are you happy seeing grandfather dead? Well, While everyone was grieving, were you holding yourself back from laughing in everyone's faces? Did you feel just a bit happier seeing him lie in the graveyard? Oh, a flash of rage crossed his face and he whipped the back of his hand across my face.
You don't know anything! Running your mouth like somehow you know everything that went on, when you're just a little girl that doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut! You did not know my father! You did not know what he was capable of!
Is everything all right? What happened?
Nothing. I'm not hungry. I think I'll just go upstairs.
Honey, wait!
Fuck you! I quickly turned and ran up the stairs to my room, slamming the door behind me. My breath came in short pants, and for a while I just leaned against the door to my bedroom, eventually sliding down to sit against it. How did things become like this? How did it happen to me? I made my mistakes, but life goes on, and my cheeks still throbbed, and I tentatively stood up and looked at the mirror to see how it looked. Hopefully it doesn't bruise. What am I saying? Tears formed in the corner of my eyes, but I blinked them back rapidly. I couldn't cry for the second time today. To be stronger than that. I am constantly crying. I don't know what kind of bullshit this is, but I cry, like, all the time.
Are you all right? Your father told me nothing happened, but you know your father.
I'm fine. I just lost my appetite.
The lasagna's done, though. And I don't want you skipping any meals. Are you sure?
Dude, we, like, just got home, and, like, we got in an argument, and she's like, the lasagna's done. Mom, how the fuck did you cook a 5-second lasagna? Yeah, don't worry about me, Mom. I'll come downstairs later to eat.
You're not telling me the whole story.
Ooh, I wonder if I have fruit in my house. I just don't want to eat right now. Dude, I'm, like, really craving strawberries.
Tell me what's going on. I wish you would tell me why you're being like this.
Why don't you ask Dad? Because his ass is... I wanted to tell her. Part of me was screaming to tell her what Dad had done. At the same time, I knew she couldn't fix anything. Besides, I was moving out regardless. I remained silent, letting the event remain in the past.
Well, I'll leave your food on the table if you want to eat it later.
Yeah, that 5-second lasagna you made? Thanks, Mom. It's probably gonna go bad really fast. Finally, my mom left me alone. It was strange to think that she was only a few inches away from me, only separated by a single wooden door. I really didn't know what to do. I needed to do something. Anything to get my mind off of what just happened. Anything would be better than thinking any more about the pain still radiating from my cheek. I was going to move into my grandfather's house tomorrow. I should probably pack my stuff so I'd be prepared for tomorrow. Yeah, that was a good idea. I should start packing! Do you guys understand that I'm packing for tomorrow? I opened the closet, rummaging around for a while before I finally found 2 large bags. Pulling them out onto the floor of my room, I then began to empty my drawers and cabinets so that I could bring all my things with me. I didn't have much to bring other than just clothes and some toiletries. It's kind of bizarre that I didn't have any personal belongings. What the fuck? Like, no, like, who the hell are you? Like, I'd be like, yes, I'll be taking, all of my books, like, my entire bookshelf, and I'll be taking, like, all my movies and TV shows, DVDs, whatever. I'll be taking all those, and hopefully we have, like, a VCR at that house, because it's, like, an old person's house. My VCR doesn't work, so I'll take, all my VHSs that I want to take, and I'll take, all of my video games, mis videojuegos, and, like, my laptop, well, whatever, and, like, definitely all my stuffed animals. Have I said my stuffed animals? Well, all my stuffed animals, like, all of them, they're all coming with me. Can't stop me. And, yeah. It wasn't like my luggage was completely devoid of them, but I certainly didn't have many things in my room that I would miss if I just suddenly left the house. I shook my head to rid myself of those thoughts. If it were going to be my new home, it would have to feel like it. One way or another, I was going to make it a home. Oh my Jesus Christ. Just as I was packing my things, my cell phone began ringing and vibrating in my pocket. I slid my phone out of my pocket and answered it while slowly easing myself onto my bed. Who could possibly be calling? God.
Hey, Anderson, you there? Is everything all right? We were worried about you, so we decided to call. Hello?
They're calling together. That's gay. I'm really glad you lesbians called. My voice managed to come out, but it was only a whisper.
What happened? Are you okay?
Well, I slowly began to tell them about the funeral that afternoon. A small silence followed when I was done recounting what happened. To my relief, Naomi finally spoke up.
I can't begin to imagine how you must be feeling right now. I'm so sorry. Do you want us to come over right now?
No, it's okay. My dad isn't in a good mood, so could we just keep talking on the phone like this?
Of course! We'd stay on the phone until the crack of dawn. Right, Suzu?
Yeah. We're always here if you need us. After all, we wouldn't be the awesome triple threat trio without you, right?
Now I'm really debating becoming a lesbian in this route. I was gonna go for James, and now I'm like, lesbians. Yeah.
Triple threat trio? That sounds like the name of a gang.
Like, Susie's is more fun than Naomi's. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, Susie's like, let's fuck some shit up. And I'm like, fuck yeah, Suzu. And then Naomi's like, I'm a lesbian. And I'm like, okay, that's great. I saw that coming from a mile away. Like,
Yeah. I mean, we're all taking on the world together. We've got to sound somewhat scary, or else no one's going to take us seriously.
What's with you and naming things?
You've got to step up your game, Naomi. Falling behind the cool kids like Anderson and me. Tisk, tisk.
Hey! I'm a cool kid. If anything, I'd say you'd have to step up your game.
we chatted cheerfully about all sorts of things. Very soon I'd forgotten about the events that day. Was engaged in a conversation about Naomi's favorite TV show. Some program called Herlock. We all agreed that the actor playing the titular character certainly had a very distinctive look about him with that long overcoat and scarf wrapped around his neck. We had many disagreements about who we thought was the coolest character. Haha, yeah. He has really high cheekbones, and his eyes are, pretty. Though I do have to say that I don't prefer Jatson, and as a bonus, his actor is just so sassy. But really, you know who's like the best? It's totally not an OC. Named Audrey? I think I named her Audrey. Listen, it's been a while since I was actually in that fandom. I don't want much to do with that fandom anymore. You know what's a better show that we should all be talking about? Elementary. Or are we going to call that by like a different name? Like, yes, this great show called My Dear. My Dear Watson. My Dear Joan Watson. I looked at the clock hanging on the wall and realized how late it was. Whoa, it's only 1 a.m.? Sorry for keeping you guys up so late. I think I'm gonna hit the hay for tonight. See you guys at school tomorrow. I should probably shower and go to bed. Can't believe I stayed up this late just to talk to... Okay, no. This is not late. Who the fuck do you think... This is... What the shit? I talked to my friends until like 4 in the morning. This is not late. But it was really nice. Well, to the bathroom I go. I took a relaxing shower. Nothing beat hot water and the feeling of being clean. After drying myself, I promptly dressed in my pajamas and crawled into bed. A nice hot shower after a long day. I'm so glad to finally be in bed. It had been a really long day. I knew that I was wishing for something to change back in class, but I certainly wasn't expecting any of the things that happened today. And I have to go back to school tomorrow. Ugh. I curled up on my side and tightly wrapped the blankets around me. I really wasn't in the mood to be returning to school. My dad probably would make me go just for the sake of it. It's time to go to sleep. I reached out to the lamp on my nightstand to turn off the lights. However, my mind was so lost in the passing of my grandfather and the thought of inheriting something so big that it haunted my mind the entire night until the next morning. Ah! I shook my head to try to clear the sleepiness out of me to no avail. I really didn't get any sleep last night. It's already time to wake up. Wait, school! As soon as I realized I had to go to school, I slid out of bed and looked at the vanity mirror. Oh, that's a relief. My face isn't too terrible. Yeah, lucky there was barely a bruise on my cheek. You had to squint to really see it. I doubted anyone would actually notice it unless they leaned in really close. Breathing out a sigh, I got dressed, took my backpack, and caught the bus to school. It wasn't even hours before everybody heard the news. I was approached in school and given condolences for my loss. However, that wasn't what shocked my friends.
Wait, so you have the whole Anderson house to yourself? Lucky as hell, man!
Yeah, did I not mention this last night? We're gonna have, like, lesbian orgies there. It's gonna be great.
Quit being so sensitive, Naomi.
Quit being so vulgar, Suzu.
Naomi's right, Suzu. No, wait, sorry. Suzu's right, Naomi.
Of course you would side with her.
What's that supposed to mean?
Ha! See? At least she knows how to have fun.
I know how to have fun. You don't need to be wild to have fun. You don't need to be wild to have fun.
I will say, though, that, like, Naomi's, like, cute little bow, like, belt thing and hairband is really, it's cute. She's cute. Guys, lesbians, girls, gays. I'm going there after school today because my parents want me to get used to living there.
Seriously? It hasn't even been a day since you came back to school.
Well, it is like a Friday. Like, I'm assuming this is a Friday. I know, but my parents want me to try living there as soon as possible.
Still, that's really fast. Are you going to be okay?
Of course not. But even in the comfort of my best friends, life seemed to keep testing me. Oh!
Hey! Don't go around shoving people like that.
Whoops. Did I strike a nerve, Capini?
She let out a small laugh as she twirled her hair around her finger. Lisette, one of the last people I wanted to see today.
It's not me you should be apologizing to.
Oh, Anderson. Hey, how's it going?
I'm alright.
Haven't you already heard, Lizette?
Of what?
Her grandfather's passing.
Well, I'm sorry about that. I don't really watch a lot of news.
It doesn't really sound like you mean it.
I do mean it. Earnestly. Why wouldn't I?
Typical Capini. Isn't her family involved with the mafia or something? I wouldn't be surprised if she brought out a bat from behind her back right this moment.
That's my mom. Mom, why are you, like, picking on Suzu? It's my mom's voice actor. I had nearly forgotten the crowd that followed Lisette, which was mostly comprised of people that no one wanted to see on a typical school day. Like, the mafia. No one had the slightest idea why exactly they followed Lisette around persistently, but they labeled themselves as social equals with her.
That is out of line. Suzu comes from an honest family.
Says the one whose family profits from political scandals.
I literally thought Suzu was saying that because she's the only person whose mouth is open right now. Like, says the one whose family profits from political scandals. Wow, Suzu, I was just defending you. That's fucking rude.
Yeah, your dad doesn't make anything unless he's in the court with dirty politicians.
Mom. Down, girl.
Hey, let's all calm down for a second, alright? I'm sure Anderson needs some time to recuperate. I mean, what just happened? We need to give her some respect.
Just stop. Stop acting like that already. Like, you feel sorry for me.
What are you talking about?
I'm sure you're happy seeing me like this. You already have everything you've wanted, and now seeing me like this, life couldn't get any better. Bitterness seeped into me, and words started flying out of my mouth without filter. But honestly, I didn't care. I was so consumed by anger that I only saw Lisette in front of me. What exactly am I to you? Just another part of your obstacle course? Is that what I am? I'm sick of it, Lisette. I'm sick of all these charades. I'm sick of you! Gasps rose from the crowd around her, and I was brought back to the school hallway. Even my friends beside me looked at me in surprise. I'm like, holy shit, B. One girl looked like she was going to speak up, but Lisette held her hand up to stop her. There was an emotion in her face that I couldn't quite make out, but I could see a form of pity in her eyes. No, don't you dare pity me! I looked away from her. I didn't want to see that emotion in her eyes when she was talking to me. She didn't have the right to look at me that way.
I'm sorry. I know your grandfather passing away must have really taken a toll on your emotions.
She stepped towards me and put her hand on my shoulder, giving me a tiny smile, as if for old time's sake. But for some reason, I didn't feel comforted at all. Not that I was just angry at her, but the expression on her face when she leaned in close to me contorted into something complex. Something was different about her. I couldn't quite place my finger on it, but something about her had definitely changed.
Well, I'll be going for now. Track meet responsibilities and all of that stuff. See you later.
Of course, she's like in track, and I do absolutely nothing because I'm lame. Something about Lisette made me feel uncomfortable. I wasn't just angry, but also uneasy. What was it? I had never seen her like that before. But I decided to pay no further attention to it. She continued running down the hallway with her gaggle of friends behind her. I refocused my attention to Mrs. Phillips, who was walking down the hall towards me.
Is everything all right, girls?
Nothing we couldn't handle, Mrs. P. Just a bunch of snobs.
Snobs? Caesar's like, God, fuckers. Don't we, go to a rich person's school, though? I, asked about this last time.
Suzu, hush! It was nothing, Mrs. Phillips.
I see. Well, Miss Anderson, please accept my condolences for your loss.
Thank you, Mrs. Phillips. You bet.
Your grandfather was a good man.
Yeah, I'm
he
sure.
He really upheld the philanthropy of his company's policies, and the money that went towards charity, too.
I know. He was amazing. I really looked up to him, and I want to be as good as he was.
Well, I know that you'll be as great as your grandfather.
Oh, thanks, lesbian one.
Hell yeah, she will. She'll be 10 times better than her grandfather.
Thanks, lesbian two. Would I? Would I really be better than my grandfather? Everyone seemed to have high expectations for me. I wanted to do my best and make my family proud, but to be better than my grandfather? I wasn't sure about that. From outside the school window, I saw a familiar blue car pull up to the curb. Undoubtedly, it was my father in the driver's seat. Oh, my ride's here. Well, I guess I'll see you both tomorrow.
Want us to come with you?
Oh, no, it's okay. I'll be fine. See you. Bye, lesbians. Hey, Dad?
Hey, honey.
Honey. As I got into the car, I noticed my father looking troubled. He looked troubled, clutching at his steering wheel and staring straight ahead, as if something was really bothering him.
About what happened yesterday. I'm sorry for yelling at you. Does your cheek still hurt?
Well, at least you know how to apologize. No, it's nothing to worry about.
I mean it. I shouldn't have laid a finger on you. You know that you're my most precious daughter. You're all that I have.
Thanks, I guess. Okay, so I wanted to point this out. Same. I don't know if I did this already, but my mom and dad have names, I think. His name's David, and we just call him Mr. Anderson. Not even dad or anything. It's Mr. Anderson. Okay. Yet he couldn't bring himself to say what he could never say to me for such a long time. I always wanted to hear those words to affirm how he really felt, but I guess even now, he couldn't say it to me. Tell us how you really feel, or beat you with my peace prize. I turned my head away to look out the window. There was no point in waiting for something that was never going to come. And like that, he started to drive, and the conversation between us ended. I decided to focus my attention on the passing scenery. We were taking the usual route to grandfather's house. It was located within the vicinity of the school district. It was still pretty far from the school and from where our house was. He had always lived alone. He insisted on doing things by himself, even at his age, living in such a large house. I wondered, did he pass away with no one at his side as well? It sounded so lonely and sad. It was strange that he decided on living all alone in his large estate. If anything, he could have lived with us, or we could have, lived with him. Dude, he's a giant-ass fucking house. Though, he and my father probably would have given each other the silent treatment the entire time. Maybe living alone was preferable to that. I actually hadn't visited him for quite a while. Visits to his house were most frequent when I was a child, and I had grown up long since then, because I'm 18 or some shit. The last time I visited, though, I thought he looked just as he usually was. Happy and healthy. But things change. In the back of my mind, I knew that he would have to leave one day. Wasn't like humans could live forever. So, why did my heart still feel so heavy? The car ride was mostly spent in silence. until he spoke up again.
How was school? Maintaining your grades, I hope.
Yeah. I've been trying my best as of so far.
Trying? That's not really doing the best you can, is it?
What the fuck is your issue? With my father, only some words I said were filtered through his ears. It was difficult to keep up a conversation without eventually talking about academics or my future, even if it was something loosely based on it. He always found a way to integrate it whenever we talked.
Anyway, your belongings are in the trunk. There isn't a lot, so I'm sure you can manage bringing them inside the house. After all, you are on the road to being independent now.
Fucking rude? Yeah, I can manage on my own because you're a piece of shit with a fucker. Fuck you. The usual silence resumed between us. I really wasn't sure what to say around him, especially when most of the time we didn't share the same opinions. One question did linger in my mind, though. If he was going to justify acting so nonchalant at grandfather's funeral, I had the right to at least know why. How many fights do I feel like getting in with my father this time around? Let's leave it alone for now. There was no use talking to him about this. It'd be like reopening a wound, or reapplying a bruise. I sighed. He gave me a side glance out of curiosity, but didn't pursue it further. Typical. Yeah, I'll do it in another route, don't worry. I leaned against the car door and stared out the window. I really couldn't think. What would this place be like? I had been to my grandfather's house before, but it was one thing visiting, and it was another thing actually living there. How would I manage living on my own without any training to really care for a house? I knew that naturally the bills would be paid for by my parents, who inherited grandfather's stocks to the corporation, but I'd never lived independently before. Thinking about it made me feel like some kind of bird being pushed out of the nest. Though I was technically an adult, I felt unprepared and a bit daunted at the prospect of actually moving into a new place. Most people my age would be ecstatic moving out. After all, it would symbolize some kind of change in their lives, like being on the road to independence. But it felt like it was nothing of the sort. I really hoped I wouldn't let my parents down. I wouldn't want to let grandfather down. What would he be saying right now? I gazed up at the passing clouds in the sky. If you're out there, grandfather, how would you be doing? Would there be anything you'd want to tell me at this moment? You're gonna get banged by the hottest dude you've ever met. Thanks, Grandpa. And of course, no answer. What was I doing? Searching for an answer in a heaven that would or would not exist? Why am I such a drama queen? What the shit? I ducked my head to stare at the blur of trees and cars from the car window. My head was definitely going into the clouds there at that moment. Either way, I found myself being driven off to my new home. The car rolled to a stop and I drifted out of my thoughts.
Here we are. Go on in.
All right. Tell Mom I love her.
All right.
I love you, Dad. No, make sure to come by and visit us often. No, I'm going to miss you lots. Nothing other than a blank stare and a little... Like, what the fuck is your problem, bitch? I paused a bit before reaching for the car door handle, waiting for any form of a goodbye. But he didn't speak again. I sighed and exited the car, hearing my dad pop open the trunk. I saw the 2 large bags I packed last night that were large enough to carry only the things I needed. Took them out, placed 1 bag on each shoulder, and closed the trunk. He then drove off, being a tool, and leaving me alone in front of the mansion. I watched the blue car fade into the distance of the road before turning to my new home, to see my new home. This is it. This is my house. This is my not very big house. It just doesn't look very big, in this thing. There it is. It's huge. My grandfather gave me this? It's hard to believe. The house was framed by a set of tall gates, and I hesitantly pushed them aside to take in the entire estate. The house still looked like it was when I last visited him. At a glance, it seemed kind of intimidating with its size, though if I came closer, it was clear that there was more to it than that. Dude, we have like a fucking hot spring, okay? Like, no, this place doesn't like do it. This doesn't do it justice. Like, we actually have a damn hot spring that I didn't know about until I did a certain route. I forget whose, but there's a hot spring route. Listen, this house is crazy big. And the brick walls were framed by shrubbery and lovely flowers, giving it a homey and welcoming look. But in contrast, the tall doors into the house gave me a feeling of grandeur. Who knew what was waiting for me? But I wouldn't back down at this moment. I took out the key to the front doors and unlocked them. Well, might as well make myself at home. I'll be staying here for quite a while anyways. That's when I saw them. And we're gonna stop here.